Congratulations to everybody who has listened and had the endurance to listen to this podcast, because we've now reached 40 episodes, which is 400 minutes of podcasting. And fortunately for the majority of you, it's not, we're doing pretty good in terms of time. But I digress, because I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick, and I'm finishing my thoughts today on my podcast that came out yesterday, which was 10 minutes on modern dating. Now, there were a couple things that I chatted about there that I wanted to continue to follow up on, including a comment that was left on a post I put on Instagram by the venerable Freddie Piazza, who is, if you don't know him, is a wonderful young actor and who is an entertaining social media personality at Freddie Piazza. I will also tag him in probably most of the things that go out on social media. I highly recommend you follow him. He's going to blow up at some point. He's blown up on TikTok, but I'm an adult and don't have a TikTok, and I watch all my TikToks on Instagram, like the adult I am. But he's also got, a bunch of followers on Instagram and seems like a generally all-around good person. And I say seems because I don't want to imply that we are somehow super best friends. I do know him. He is in my acting class. We are, we've done a scene together. Like I said, excellent young actor. But he left some advice on an Instagram post that I did promoting the podcast. And essentially the comment said advice on how to go through modern dating. And it was interesting. It was interesting. And I think it's somewhat timeless advice, so I wanted to read it into the record. Freddie, if you didn't give me authority to do this, I apologize. I'm doing it anyway. There's not enough people on this podcast for you to worry about it. Don't worry. Let's see. Here we are. My post was, when it comes to dating, men are none too bright. And Freddie said, in response to my comment on the ins and outs of modern dating, it's about being mystical, being your authentic self, being mysterious. Most women want a man who is lighthearted, funny, playful, but also serious, mature, and adventurous. I find being spontaneous helps. Flowing, not caring whether or not you're accepted by them. It makes you desirable. Tips by Freddie Piazza, a.k.a. Smooth Steve Flynn. Now, Smooth Steve Flynn is a nickname I gave him in an improv session during class. But the advice is interesting because it's wholly contradictory and wholly correct. Don't worry, Freddie, I'm not going to tear down your advice. I'm actually going to build up your advice. But when you're teaching young men how to date, this is where the problem comes in. You can't actually, it's hard to teach a metric. You can teach math. Right? You can teach math because math has defined, quantifiable metrics by which you test. But arguably, dating is just as important to teach. And it's almost impossible to do it successfully because you can't quantify what success actually looks like in dating. For some people, success looks like marriage and family. But not everyone wants that. Some people want to just remain unmarried for their entire life. Then for them, success is going to look like, maybe it looks like a long-term marriage. Maybe it doesn't. That's the hard part about trying to give dating advice. So what young Freddie has given is a piece of advice that's actually about as close to dating truth as you can get, which is you need to be both serious and playful. You need to be both mature and spontaneous. You need to be all of these things. And it's interesting when you think about that because it's all 100% true and all 100% confusing. Now, our young Mr. Freddie, I'm going to continue to use him as an example, is a very good-looking dude. I mean, this kid walks the catwalk with, could walk the catwalk with Brad Pitt. Like, he's in a different stratosphere than most of us mere mortals. I myself am more in the camp of, shall we say, the blue-collar worker. And I come from a long line of proud blue-collar workers. And so I take that, I take that on with pride. I know who I am. I know what I do. But our young Mr. Freddie probably has the more success. And as I said in a previous podcast, you don't necessarily take coaching advice from somebody who has elite skills. You want to take coaching advice from somebody who has elite teaching skills. And there's the rub in dating, and especially in modern dating. We now live in the oh God, what was that old MTV show? The stupid MTV shows where, the guy would teach you how to have game. So dumb. But we live in the post that world now. And in that post world, the obsession is trying to define game, trying to have game. But what is game? Again, we don't have a quantifiable metric for success in modern dating. We have to somehow be mature and immature. We have to be organized and spontaneous, mystical. And even then, sometimes it just doesn't matter if you do everything right. There's just not a connection. And I think the problem is, and a lot of the problems of relations between men and women in today's modern world, is that we've failed to properly tell our young men and women that it's okay. It's not a game. There is no game. I'm talking from the perspective of a straight man. I don't know if this holds in the LGBTQIA plus community. It might not. I don't know. But I don't think there's not good teaching out there on how to date. And it's a tough role for parents to take on, because parents can certainly give you the advice of what got them to their marriage. But your road is not their road. Your road is not their road. Somebody in a relationship can certainly give you relationship advice, but their road is not your road. The only one who can figure out what style of dating, what the ultimate goal of dating is that works, is you, which makes dating, oddly enough, an incredibly lonely endeavor. And there's a lot of factors that weigh in on dating as well, right? I'm not pretending today to be able to offer you a solution as to how you should go about being better at dating. Because frankly, I've seen couples whom I never thought would last and grow. And I've seen couples that I swore would get married break apart. I saw couples that were married and I swore they'd be married forever. They fell apart. There's no answer. There's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. It's mystical. Which is why I say that our young Freddie has stumbled upon the most accurate piece of dating advice that I've ever seen. I don't know that he stumbled upon it. He's quite a wise young man. And I do say young because he is a full decade younger than I, and I have a beard, and I like to use that beard to say, to describe myself as old and wise and wizened. That's a fun word, isn't it? Wizened. Side note, I probably don't get as many dates as I could because I use words like wizened. Well, that and I'm terribly shy. Anyways, when you're out there in the dating world, be serious and be silly. Be mature and immature. And above all else, be mystical. Go follow Freddie Piazza. If you enjoyed this, follow me. I'm Nick. This was 10 Minutes with Nick. Easy to find at 10 Minutes with Nick. YouTube at 10 Minutes with Nick. Spotify, go to Instagram and I have a link to it because I don't remember the link off the top of my head. I'm Nick. This was 10 Minutes with Nick. Have a great day.